I remember talking about the risk of quitting your day job to pursue music as a career. A lot of people are not willing to take that risk. And I remember Twitter went crazy on me. I made the controversial claim that a day job can be just as risky and unstable as pursuing a career in music is. And because of that, if risk is the only thing holding you back from pursuing music as a career, then you should just follow your heart and risk it instead of living your life with the regret of never trying. People weren't too happy with me about me saying that. And I would absolutely never in a million years say pursuing music as a career, or pursuing any art as a career for that matter, is a stable course. And I wouldn't say it was easy either. No small business owner walks a stable and easy path. That's just not how it works. Let's be honest, you're not gonna find these videos anywhere else. Why? Because I make them. So it would really help me out if you subscribe. If you've already subscribed, what also really helps is if you like the video and leave a comment. It's hard in the era of clickbait videos on YouTube and negativity in the producer community, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much. And what I will say is this: if you're scared to jump into pursuing music as a career, if you're afraid to quit your day job to do that, that's fine, I understand. But put it into perspective, is it also not risky when you consider college puts you into debt and doesn't guarantee job placement in most cases? Even regular 9-to-5 jobs can result in layoffs and firings and downsizing. Is it not risky to put all of your eggs in the basket of traditional employment? Tragically, 6.6 million Americans filed unemployment claims in the beginning of April due to the coronavirus pandemic, and as of yesterday, that number has surpassed 38 million. These are regular 9-to-5 jobs. And so as a musician, I don't feel any less stable than my peers who have traditional jobs, especially at this time, and I actually feel more secure than some. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to quit your job and pursue music. Not everyone's built for this. Sometimes I don't think I am. Sometimes I have really hard days. Sometimes I have really great days. Overall, I'm happy with my life. I'm encouraging you, though, to follow your heart, as corny as that sounds, and to also be smart about it. A lot of us don't feel as though it's even possible to make music for a living, to make beats for a living. I don't think I'm supposed to be making beats for a living. I live in Madison, Wisconsin. This is not Atlanta. This is not LA. I had 3 jobs when I got my first major placement. I was in school full-time. I was working for a regional broadcasting company. I had a mix show. I worked for the university's Department of Information Technology. I was doing youth work. I was teaching ACT prep and college prep. And I also had another position at the university working for the Office of Multicultural Arts Initiatives. And at that time, even with the placement, I wasn't making enough money off of music to live on. But I had 3 jobs and I saved up every cent that I could from those jobs. And I rode the bus. I didn't buy a car. I ate at home. I didn't go out. I used condoms, seriously. And then I resigned from my radio job. And then I graduated from school and I lost my 2 positions at the university because they were student research positions. And at that time, I knew if I didn't go all in with music that I would regret it later on in life. So I went all in. And I had money saved up, I had a support system, I had my degrees, and I knew that if I didn't fully commit to my music wouldn't fully commit to me. And I'm still here, over a decade later, probably in part due to just how stubborn I am. I mean, look, I almost didn't survive college. I had a 1.8 GPA and a criminal record in high school. And then going to college, I almost failed my freshman year. I just didn't personally want to feel like a quitter, so I pretty much sacrificed my social life. I didn't really need that anyway. Showed up to my professor's office hours, TA's office hours, the study groups, the various programs that the campus offered. And I ended up on the dean's list. I ended up getting academic scholarships, and I ended up with a master's degree because I actually started liking school. I'm stubborn, and that's how I survived that experience. And that's my story. Who cares about my story? My story's not your story. Our stories are different. Maybe you have kids, maybe you have a wife, a husband, whoever. Maybe you don't have a college degree. Everybody is existing under different circumstances in life. So I put together a compilation of advice from producers that I've had conversations with about quitting their job to pursue music. This is everybody from a DIY artist who performs 100% by herself to a 3-time Grammy Award winning producer. They all had different circumstances. Some of them talk about working odd jobs. Some of them talking about having really uncomfortable conversations with their significant others when they decided to quit their job and sacrifice a stable income for their dream of becoming a professional producer. And hopefully their stories can give you at least some encouragement and maybe some practical ideas that you can apply to your own life. If you're in a position right now where you're thinking about going all in and devoting all of your time and energy to becoming a career producer. And at that point, you were married with children, right?
Yes.
So how did that work?
The extra pressure.
Yeah. What kind of conversation was it? I mean, a lot of people are going through that. So what kind of advice would you give people who are in that situation? Because I know a couple of like Angel Ray, who asked the question. I know she's married with kids. Many others are. What kind of advice would you give those producers?
Well, it's tough. I think, and I actually have a chapter in my book called Wifey's Magic Wand, where I talk about this whole situation of me wanting to quit my job, but I didn't just quit. It wasn't just like, okay, I want to quit my job the next day. Yo, I'm not coming back no more. It was me having a conversation with my wife. And when I had this conversation, this was one of the hardest conversations I would have to have with her. But when I had this conversation, instead of me getting, we need this money, because we were struggling, and I was making about 35, 40K at my job, and we were still struggling. So it's like, how can I have this conversation about me coming off my job when we desperately need this income? And when I went to my wife, she surprisingly said, I really feel that this is your gift and what you should be doing too, full time. So let's plan it out so that you can come off your job. So we took 10 months to a year to really sacrifice and, develop this self-discipline of saving and paying bills off and doing away with things that we love, like cable. We cut our cable off, and, we start buying all this ground meat we cut out going out to eat and all these things that we love to do, because we wanted to sacrifice that because we knew that this is what I wanted to do. And 10 months later, I wound up leaving the job. And at that point, it was, I have to go all in, because not only is this decision that I just made affecting me, but it's affecting 3 other people as well. My wife and my 2 boys. So at that point, it was really like, okay, I have to make this work now, because not only do I believe this work, they're believing in me too. So that's when the focus got real and the self-discipline, and I started to treat it as a business. I had everything kind of figured out as for like at that time that I quit my job, I had kind of built my name up in the underground to where I was selling beats to independent artists and things, $200 here or $400 here. So I knew that, okay, I need to sell at least 4 beats this month to be able to contribute to, rent or whatever, so it became like like no different than working in sales. You have a quota, and, you do whatever it takes you make sure you're getting your batches out every week, and doing your follow-ups every week, with certain people. And yeah, it just became a routine thing of pitching sales, but it was with my beats.
I just went for it because I had a full-time job in DC 2 years ago, answering emergency service calls over the phone, completely just left music. I still love music, but I was like, I need to make money, dude. I'm not making money. And I didn't know what I wanted to do in music. So it made sense why I wasn't making money. Getting that job and having that job and not being able to do the things that I eventually realized meant so much to me really pushed me to the edge and motivated me to venture into this world that I'm in now. Now, like for me, I didn't just dive in and like do music and that was the only thing that was making money for me. Like there was a segue for me where I was walking dogs. Like I knocked on people's doors in my neighborhood and was like, hey, does your dog need a walk? Like, to try to make money and things like that. And I always tried not to beat myself up about it. Like at the end of the day, I could sit there and be like, shit, like my prime income stream right now is dog walking. Like how lame is that? I think it's better to see every step in your journey as something essential to getting to where you ultimately want to go, and not getting too caught up in, the reality of it. and seeing it more as like, this is the stepping stone. This is not the end goal. This is not where I ultimately want to be. But to get the most out of it and see it as a necessary resource. So like for me, dog walking, I didn't like feel ashamed of that. I was like, this is getting me the money I need in order to do the things I need to do to get to the next step of my journey. So yeah, I think it's, you know, getting the most out of wherever you are, even if it's not where you want to be, and staying positive about it.
A couple years ago, I was still, you know, doing like, I'll throw an ASAP Rocky type beat there and would just do rest of my beats by myself. But I think 2017 is really when I just really, okay, I'm really focused on type beats and the beat selling game. And that's where, you know, everything just took off from there.
Did you have a day job that you had to quit or cut your time down? Did you put yourself on a certain kind of schedule?
Oh man, I used to work at Walmart. I was working at Walmart for 2 years in the meat department. So I remember I used to work at probably 8 in the morning to 10 at night. So I used to come home, I'd be exhausted, but I still used to knock out beats. The days I had off, I took full advantage of that. I just dedicated that whole day just to making beats, you know. And it's just really, you just got to grind. And I think about the third month I was into selling beats, I had the opportunity to quit my job, and I just walked out. You know, I was making a lot of money, you know, before I did that.
It was like a year ago when I started working at Academy. Yeah, I was there. I was working a part-time job and doing BeatStars at the same time. So it was like a year ago. I was really like, you know, a year and a half ago, I was really like leasing beats to people. And it wasn't really major at first. You know, now it's a little bit more now for sure. But a while, when I first started, hell no, it was a little bit, you know, kind of weird. You know, nobody was hitting me up, but it was all good.
And within what, half a year you said you were able to quit your job?
Yeah, like a year and a half basically. Like I just quit my job. Like last year around this time, I like literally just left my job and was we were just about to come out with the Euro Got It and Lil Baby record. It didn't really come out till July 13th, but it was made in May. So like around this time last year, I just quit my job and I was just leasing beats online. And I still live with my mom right now, but I'm just, you know, saving up, you know, like I'm not spending any of the bread, you know, like saving up. Like I just want to keep it that way, you know, and that's just really how I'm moving right now.
I really wasn't in a good place financially. I didn't have much money to live off, and it was actually a massive risk for me. At the time, it was kind of one of those where I was like, okay, well, shit, am I actually going to do this, or am I just going to stay working this 9 till 5, like plodding along? So I just had enough one day, and I'm sure, you know, we've all been there. And I kind of just said, you know what, I'm just going to go all in. I put everything I had into just making beats and then figuring out how to market them. Mostly all the information that I got was from YouTube. You know, YouTube's an amazing resource in terms of marketing. Quit the job, I went all in and things just started to fall together. My catalog got bigger. I probably only had 30, 40 beats when I quit my job, and so it allowed me to work on it in a lot more detail. And I just went all in.
So you learned a lot of marketing techniques watching YouTube videos. What's one marketing tactic that you can say is probably one of the most effective as far as what you learned to do?
Well, it's funny because I'm going to say that at the time it was typed beats. Looking at that and going and sort of figuring out type beats that people hadn't already used and that weren't super saturated, that was definitely something that helped me. I looked at type beats where someone might search for that, but you maybe only get 15 to 20 searches for that a day. But because it's so niche, when someone does search for it and it's in exactly that sound, then they're probably going to want to know more about you. So I'd say that was the first thing.